All right, let's get some little music going. Whoa, that's a lot of music. Who rocks the body that rocks the body? Andy. That's who rocks the body that rocks the body. Oh, lordy. Number one. Andy, the number one party hat wearer. Yo. It's business time. Yes. You've ascended into the party rocker. Well, this music's so epic. It's called 2050 Supersonic. I don't think 2050 is going to look like we think 2050 is going to look like. How's morale? My morale's a little low, but I'm trying to ascend by streaming. "2030 will have no real overboard." Yeah, Beyond. We used to have a show in the 90s called Beyond 2000, and they had like flying cars and stuff. Oh, doing it. Hired gun. Developer for hire, making money. I know it's sad, but that's like you're getting paid and you're like, everything's gonna be all right. Man, I watched the new, I don't know how to say his name, Jonas, the guy who made Thronefall guy. He made a video about like selling his IP on or something for one of their early games. And he was just like, yeah, we were just in university and we made this game and sold hundreds of thousands of copies. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Why are we relearning how to render text on the screen? I'm too old for this. Yeah, it was interesting, eh? Very problems you have when you're already successful kind of thing. Imagine how I feel. So many fresh kids come out of nowhere with hit games. Yeah. They're the old dogs in the game. Even though I've only been in game dev for a few years, I'm still old. Worst of both worlds. Yeah, I guess it's hard, to be like... It's a weird one. I mean, that youthful exuberance being like fresh in uni with a couple of mates making a game must be pretty awesome. Thousands of people would come out of nowhere with no hit game. Yeah, one of my favorite talks is this name Jeff Vogel. He's the guy who's like just makes those real dense like old school 90s RPGs, and he's just run his business making those for like 30 years or something. Real interesting. There's another guy that made Match 3 games, and he just would sell them at Christmas time. And he tracked like every single metric of every hour he worked and how much everything made. It was really interesting. Both like how to survive without a hit type thing. Rule number 1, ship your game. Don't mess around trying to reinvent things and create your own game engines. Harder, mate. Speaking of which, we've got a text renderer now. It's a beautiful, it was actually a lot. It was actually a lot. I'd like when I when I did the first like raylib remove that week, I started writing this font loader, and it was basically just the raylib font loader. And I was going through it, and like it's very manual. Like it was just using STB true type to get the glyphs, and then it was like building the glyphs and doing everything in a real super C way with all these like mallocs and calyx and stuff. And I just did that. There's still a couple of these. And then I sort of stopped when I was like, man, this is a mission. How do you even draw? I was like, don't worry, we'll get IM GUI and we won't worry about it. But I went back to it and sort of went back through it and was like, oh, I'll chuck some vectors in there and see if I can get it working. And then like made these text objects, which are like render objects. They go through the same instancing process. And you can add text, so you can just add a string and it will map the glyph positions and the UVs and everything. So every text instance has like, it's just like a regular instance, but it's got a matrix, but it's got this UV rect. This padding thing is just to make the struct size different. But right now it's not super functional. You can add text to it. You can create one of these objects and add text to it, but it doesn't really handle like, it's not very usable. Like you have to clear it manually and rewrite the text or whatever. But whatever it But whatever. Oh, why do I never get my chat updates, man? This thing just always leaves me hanging. Oh no. Size, location. Oh, I got rid of size, didn't I? Does that mean it's in the shader and needs thing? Text. It probably needs like 2 different texts. We're not using it. Yeah, we don't need that. And we don't need that. Sorry, I missed all those chats. Don't make your game engine is the best advice I never follow. Do it, it's making a lot of your own stuff. I just want to make the game. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a weird like rabbit hole to go down. Oh yeah, so we got some text. This is 3D world space text. It's actually the PBR shader rendered 3 times. Brrr, man, we need to be able to speed up this process. It's like Star Wars. And it's kind of like, you can see it kind of, it's oh, why did I stop that? Yeah, Andy, it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I was saying this to Lou. I was like, man, I should have just used a game engine. And she was like, oh, but Daisy Trains is the way it is. Like, it might not have ended up this way if you had gone through the game engine. And I'm like, yeah, true, actually, because I'd rather than figuring out these things, I'd probably just use the tools at my disposal, and it might end up like not like this, which might not be a problem, but it's just like, I don't know. It's also very fascinating. I'm like, now I see like tutorials on Unity and stuff, and I'm like, the topics that are being covered like are the how to use the tool topics, and then if you're like if you had a team, if all of us got together for like 10 years and had like a massive budget and we tried to make Unity, we'd probably fail. Like, what goes on, like, I got a newfound respect for Unity, like what it's capable of. Everyone's like, Unity sucks or whatever, you know, these big sweeping statements about these things. Like, man, it must be so complicated to even get it going in the first place. Yeah. Anyway, so this is an SDF font, and you can see the atlas that it makes is pretty. So yeah, you got like your regular bitmap atlases, and then these are like SDF atlas, which sort of calculates like a signed distance field around the text, and you can kind of, the shader can kind of figure out the size. It's pretty simple. It's actually in the Fragment shader. It does these, oh yeah, and it has outlines. I think I just commented out all the outlines. So it can kind of knows which way to extend the text, no matter what the size. So this text can be rendered massively as it is, and it's only, you know, the actual font atlas is small. This is not like some giant atlas. You see, it's not even high res at all. But that's STB TrueType did that. I just was like, do a SDF one, and it was just worked. I was like, all right. And then from here you can if I comment out, everything's really messy. I only did this yesterday. That's my excuse. The Fragment shader, if I was to calculate the outline threshold, and then the text color is the outline, the final color is the mix of the, we need that one and that one. This is all just hard coded at the moment. It doesn't really, it's not very manageable. But you can see we've got outlines, which is kind of cool, because that's like what SDFs are good at, is outlines and like glowy effects and stuff, because you can kind of just extend out and set your thresholds for how you want things to be. This is how Text Mesh Pro works in Unity. So each thing is a quad. It's just mind-boggling, how text works in the real world. It's like it's a quad. Each thing is a quad, and it's rendering this thing 3 times. So it's a pretty big text file. I mean, it's not huge, but it's pretty. It's kind of big, and it's rendering it 3 times. So I don't even know how many glyphs that is, but it basically takes no time. It takes like, I don't know. When I'm out here, it's like at full zoom, it's like 2.7 milliseconds. And if I don't do it, I don't really have good tests at the moment. Let's just not add the 3D text. Boom, 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 boom. Use game engine when you want to make a game. You make your own when you want to learn. Yeah, it was like 0.2 milliseconds or something to draw that text. So I'm like, no, it was fast. When you want to learn. Whoa, I moved the chat around. Make a game engine when you want to make a game. You use a game engine when you want to make a game. You make your own when you want to learn. Yeah, but then this was herein lies the paradox, because I did a little bit of like Raylib stuff, and then I was like, starting to get this mentality of like, how can, like, the very characteristics of a game, to me, are like, well, there's the mechanical side of how the game works, and then there's like the design side of how like the game works, you know what I mean? Or more like the technical aspect of how it runs, and the design aspect of how you make it do what you want. And I think those two things are like connected more. And like the idea with a game engine is like, we've got all the mechanical technical side sorted, And you just use the tools we provide to do the thing, and don't worry about how it does it. And so you go, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then you run into a problem where you're like, oh, why is this so slow or something? And then the fundamental underneath of what's going on, like I remember when I was making that tree game and I was adding all these objects, and I didn't connect that they were all checking for each other. And the collision system, you don't know any details of the collision system. You got no details. All you can say is like, what layer are you on? That's pretty much it. And so I didn't realize that I was doing like 200,000 checks every frame or something because they were on the wrong layer. It's weird. So yeah, I don't think I'm not trying to say any of these ideas are wrong or right. It's just like a fascination factor that like, yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop talking. But anyway, oh yeah, and we've also got text 2D text. So I load in the dev notes from the files, and there they are. And you know what? I spent the longest time on, and I actually didn't figure it out myself. I was just arguing with Copilot about it. It was like getting the text to line up on the baseline, because these are all like in a matrix. You know, they're all matrix based placed. So I'm calculating the matrix. They're 3D text, but they're drawn orthographically or whatever. But then you've got like the local space of where the thing sits on the glyph sits. This is a buggy thing, man, whenever I push this button. Oh yeah, come back. Yeah, like where the glyph sits. And each one's got a different height, because like things like Y's sit differently. There's like the top of the glyph measurement, and then so it looks kind of good. But you're doing this like local space glyph transformation, and then you're transforming it into the wherever you want to draw it on the world. Anyway, this is all stuff that, again, like it's so difficult to just draw text on the screen. Oops. So yeah. I mean, even text in Unity can be a little bit like, you gotta get Text Mesh Pro in there. Text like regular Unity text doesn't work. It's like blurry. So you gotta get Text Mesh Pro and make the SDF things. And they just bought some add-on that got text rendering better, I think. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Put it that way. Notes. Hi to my text render review. Reviewed. So, there was a David Delassus. Are you linked? Who's linked again? I get mixed up with the names. Yeah. David. Linked there, yeah. Did a blog post and posted it on the thing about UI, which is really interesting. And so yeah, go to the Discord and read that. I'm gonna be whatever I'm gonna do is gonna be way more simpler and weirder. DD stands for link DD, link DD. Ah, yes. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a really well-written article. I've kind of got like half the... You're managing the state really well of all these different things. And right now I've kind of got half the state. There's like I've got all the keyboard and mouse stuff kind of in a weird... all these key press and mouse state things that kind of were influenced by Raylib. So I'm just gonna I'm thinking of just making a thing. I just want to draw. I just want to be able to draw rect. Now that I'm here, what am I? How do we even? What are we even? What are we? Yeah, there's all these old type diffs around. So I was thinking there is a thing called a rect in graphics, I believe. A rect, yes. We've got this quad rect mesh. Let's just make it. This is all a bit weird because this is the I am GUI stuff, which is in Genie right now, but I think it might just get moved to editor and just have Genie have its own type of UI thing. Genie UI init. I might just chuck it right at the top. G GUI. That's the Genie UI dot quad mesh. A rect mesh. Rect mesh equals generate quad. This is just a little function that makes a little thing. Let's go. Okay. Creates me a quad with positions and text coords. That's one thing. Like, I let Copilot. It was like, well, when you want to init a font object, you probably want to generate like the quad and buffer all the data and stuff. And I'm like, do I? Don't I just want to do that once and reuse that one for everyone? But anyway. Anyway, so a rect is just a rectangle. We can make a rect. Debug UI, yeah. I'm thinking of making all that stuff just the editor UI, so that I want it to get to a point so you can just sort of say, don't use the editor, and the game still runs and the engine still runs, but the editor is just self-contained with all of its UI, all the settings panels and stuff. Oh, that was the other thing I did actually, before I move on. Doing majorly boring stuff, but like, so there are these settings panels, right? This is like the environment panel, and it changes like the sun direction, sun elevation, the color and all that. So these are just like connected to little variables. There is an environment object that's storing all this, and then that environment, I don't know, it just lives in memory and then it dies. The wind controls are like, they're actually a struct that saves itself. Is it in world? Yeah, so I've got this thing called wind settings, and this has a save and load. But I was like, writing a loader and a saver for all of these things is bad. And all these things will probably want to be saved. So I went through this long and arduous process, as per usual, of creating like a generic serializer. So it's really unco. I actually did one with the help of Copilot, and it was like, use standard variant and all this stuff. And I did it, and I was like, oh, you know what? It just hides too much stuff. Let's just make one that's real dumb, like a union that can have all these different types, and then it's tagged with like what data type it is, and then it can have ranges. It's a bit uncoordinated. Like there are getters and adders for every type, which is kind of funny. But they've also got like their own draw widget function, and they automatically draw what widget they are, and then they auto save themselves, and then you can make a collection of these fields and auto load and save those from a file. Which was kind of cool, but then I was like, oh wait, most of these things, like I was working on the ocean, I was like, most of these things in the ocean are actually shader parameters, and they need to be tied to a uniform in the shader. So then I went a little further and made like a shader parameter which like has a field and a uniform name and shaders that it wants to update. It's got widgets, and the widget, it'll draw the widget, but it'll only update. It'll draw the widget from the field, but it'll only update the shader if it's changed, which is kind of cool. And then there's an encode and decode and a shader parameter set. So now these ocean settings connect to the shader. So you can do something like make the waves real big. And there's also Gressner waves now, so there's like multiple layers of sine waves. I know you're all excited about the sine waves. So that, yeah, it's actually displaced procedurally now. And you could like change the sky color. Oh, actually I don't think the sky color counts. But anyway, now if I quit, that stuff will auto serialize down to a file, and then when I load back in, it's there. So this is persistent. This is like a lot of messing around for this, but then it's like all these panels or all these settings will either be shader parameters or game settings that will be, there'll be a little button where you can click them on or off, autosave or whatever. But they're all actually tied to somewhere, so they're not just random, like in world. It used to be like these crazy like static variables everywhere that were just like, oh, you got to make the static, you got to make the variable somewhere, and then like this, all the ocean things, and then you had to draw widgets for them all, and then you had to update all the shader uniforms, and so you're like managing things in 3 places. And now the way it works is you just I don't know, where's the thing? Was it in assets? There's just a thing that just initializes the ocean. Where is it though? Things are a little messy right now. Ocean. Do. Is there ocean in it or something? In an ocean? In game settings? Game? Oh yeah, so there's these settings tags. You can get these settings collections. There's ocean settings. And then there's a thing just called get settings. So you can get a settings. Do I use them anywhere? Or has this all been like... Oh, maybe it's in shader parameters. So this is a meandering thing. Oh, shader settings, yes. Ocean settings. And then the whole call to ocean settings is this. Get the settings, draw all widgets. Oh yeah, and then you've got this thing here. If it looks at the file, and these are defaults that it sets if there is no file, because I had to keep deleting the file. And then there, that works. There it goes. All right. But the actual task at hand. Okay. The actual task at hand is to draw a button. We're going to do this in the most simplest way. Genie UI. We have a quad, and we want a thing, maybe it's in the UI thing, void draw rect, right? I don't even know what this needs. It probably needs a bunch of stuff. Maybe it needs like vec2 position. It just needs a rect. It just needs a rect, right? A rect. Do like a const rect reference rect. UI.cpp. Not really thinking this through. Okay, void UI draw rect. Position const rect reference rect. So I guess there needs to be some sort of thing like a UI rect. Rect. A rect.rect. UI rect, I don't know. Because this is another thing that I'm going to be like batching, or we don't worry about that right now. We just want to draw the most basic thing. Text. I just want to look at the text because this is game text. How are we doing it in the text? It's actually kinda, we're doing like updating array buffers and things, but the draw, we're going to need the orthographic projection, yes. We don't really need to calculate this for everything. And then we're going to need like a rect shader, yes. Bind the quad and draw it, but don't draw elements instanced. So it's going to need a texture. Image rect, I don't know. Texture pointer to a texture. Draw rect though is going to probably add a list of rects to draw, because most of our stuff is done not straight away. It's done like that's probably not worth instancing, because like there's like gonna be, you know, a panel, and you draw that panel. There's gonna be like 3, or not even, okay, all we want is a button. We just want to draw a rectangle with a texture on it. Maybe it doesn't even texture straight away. Oh, this is where the problem gets a little deeper. Each time you stream, you seem to add a new accessory. What did I add? I've got this UI draw command. Old C function pointer for some reason. And these draw commands. We've got quads. I don't want to draw directly. I don't want to have to call it, because this is going to be a render pass. So we're going to need, what if we have a standard vector? Oh, that was another thing I did. I got rid of this macro that was just like vector and string. Because I was like, who wants to write out this? And then I was like, oh, I think that's a bad idea. Having an orthographic projection and each rect be a 3D quad is overkill. Probably. Wow, I'm trying. I'm slowly like realizing I don't know what I'm doing. So how else do you do it if you don't have a... Well, I mean, you need 2 triangles, right? You need a quad. But you're like, don't even bother projecting them. How do you draw them then if you don't draw them? I'm just doing this for now. Map the height and width of the screen to see. Now you're starting to talk like there's systems involved that are like, there's like a renderer with a batching system. All this stuff is happening on layers and layers and layers of stuff. So to like come up with a new system just for this, I don't know, is it worth it? I mean, the orthographic projection needs to be calculated once, and then it never changes. And then the shader, I mean, like we're drawing like 50,000 font glyphs or something in the same way, and it doesn't, it takes 0 time, so I don't know whether it matters. Sorry. That was like, what is the Vertex shader doing? It's just doing oh yeah, this is actually doing nothing because it was flipped because things are upside down. Well, yeah, it is doing a transformation on the view and projection and the instance matrix. The text one wasn't like this. It was like, oh, you don't need an instance matrix. But I'm like, this is actually a 3D for 3D text. So there might be a 2D one and you could simplify it. But like I don't think it matters. Draw rect. I might just make this add rect. Because this, well, why is that a standard string? This is like image rects to draw. The model view projection matrix is used to translate a world space coordinate to screen space. You don't need that if you want to draw on the screen space directly. Right. Oh, true, yeah. It is probably overkill. Did I not just change this? Add rect. Add image rect. Texture pointer texture. I guess the rect contains the position, doesn't it? The hat. Oh, the hat. Got to keep the head warm. Texture pointer texture. Okay, so this is actually just queuing. So we're gonna call ggui dot image rex to draw dot push back. A new image rect that has the rect and the texture. And our end frame, we're gonna just in the doc space bloody blah. We're gonna go GG UI image. I mean, this is the difference between like the main game like sends most of the objects to the renderer every frame, which it doesn't actually need to do for a lot of the static objects like terrain. Grass is not doing that because the grass has got like a dirty clean system. And most of the other stuff that's not moving doesn't need to be, only needs to be recalculated when it's updated. But that's just a whole thing to manage. So most of the time I just send things to the renderer every frame until there's like tens of thousands of them. Like the cargo containers, they do change a lot, but they should be only updated when they need to be updated. And they need to be, but like for this adding a rect, do I clear these rects every frame? Certain ones, I mean, not really, kind of, because I'm going to have buttons that change state quite a lot. So I'm just going to do it every frame. Clear. And then we need to do something called void draw UI or something like this. Void UI, draw UI. And then this is like sum for I32 image rect index equals 0. You said the hat. Oh yeah, the hat. Anyway, you're making a custom UI. Yeah, I saw that one. Sorry, I'm in like a weird headspace at the moment. Also, I've got limited time because I've got to take the dogs to the groomers. Oh, okay, we can get started. Dragon Lasers here. That's why I think I couldn't concentrate, because there was a missing presence. Just coming for your weekly roasting of the particle effects. I did. I felt like, I don't know. I was starting to build my self-esteem back up, and I need to be put back in my place. Let's just get a what is this? Is a UI reference. UI global UI equals Genie UI. GUI, it's actually image rex to draw dot size IRI plus plus. Number one. Don't worry, we're massively reinventing wheels over here. Okay, so in order to draw this thing, we need to texture. Well, what happened? Texture. Actually, this will render texture bind. We'll get the rect image rect. Why is it lowercase? It's a struct. Image rect reference rect equals GUI dot image rex to draw. So I get to things really slowly and badly and then do it the wrong way, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Vector math, you got to do it, man. Rect dot texture ID. I should have a thing that just takes that. So we need to do that, and then we just need to render mesh bind. What is it called, man? Oh, it's render mesh bind the GUI dot rect mesh. I only want one mesh. And then what's the function called? GL draw arrays? Is that how you draw just one draw call? Do I have this somewhere in a renderer? I don't even know what these things are. We found the thing. Do I have like some old code that just renders? I think I deleted them all. Create objects, instance data, draw elements, instance. Mesh bind, da-dee-da-dee-da. Draw arrays. Draw quad. I've even got a thing for it. Render draw quad. We've got it down to actually no OpenGL calls. Draw quad. Do I need to send a quad? No, it already knows. Oh, we also need to put this on unit 0. I mean on unit 0, because that's what it'll be. Number 1. So this is my ultra minimal draw rect image rect. We are going to need a shader. I struggle with like I think everybody struggles with this, right? Like, what's default 2D? What is this? This is image 2D dot vertex shader. Very nicely described. Image 2D dot fragment shader. Blender texturing. Don't worry, we're just doing a little UI. This is like the hard. We got this little hard time that we're going through because we've got all this. We're doing all this cool like graphicsy stuff and things are looking really nice. But then people are like, "How do you actually play the game?" I'm like, "Shut up." Then I've got this like UI basics right at the top of the thing, and we need like a couple of panels. All we need is a couple of rects and a couple of panels and a couple of buttons, and then we're on to all this. Fix the tunnels, make some new art. Look at all these art, water art. Oh, water edges is done, buddy boy. So once we get through this painful process of trying to reinvent things, screen shader. I'm just gonna steal this because this is pretty much. Oh yeah, because this is pretty much what we're talking about, eh? All it needs is a position and text chords. This is our screen shader, so we could just be doing like that. Yeah, but that doesn't really. This doesn't help us with size though, because we kind of need to know the rect. And also if it's like a thing that has like it maybe comes from a sprite sheet or something, then maybe it needs like, in fact how I did the text thing had like, it had this size, but I got rid of it for a matrix. This instance UV rect. Do I need to do this? The UV rect, the position, yeah, position and size. Bam, bam, bam. So image 2D, maybe it needs a size. This is where I'm like, just make it a matrix. Oh wait. Refresh. Sorry, yeah. Anything, the weather. It's winter in Australia. Location to. This is why I'm like, do I need to manage the position and the size differently in vec2 size? A size, attribute size. So how do I need to, this is where I don't know what I'm doing actually. It used to be in here, there was like a size things, but I got rid of it for a matrix because I'm like, I'm so matrix. I'm in the matrix. Anyone know what I need to do to figure out the GL position? AL position. Wait, when we draw to the screen shader, we set the size. How? Oh, you're in Brizzy, right? Busy, mate. It's freezing down here in Sydney, mate. Render as CPP. We have render passes. So the final render pass is this display render pass. We set this. This is all old news. We bind the frame buffer, we do the screen quad, but this is just a quad, right? So what's telling it how big to be? We're rendering, I guess, is it just, because they're all just based on the frame buffer size. So it's rendering whatever size the texture is. Is that how that works? Why is this so confusing? This is why I'm like, just do a cheeky little one of these. Who said it earlier? They were like, it's easy. Just map the height and the width of the screen -1 to 1. Another shader where you don't pass the model view. Shader will bubble the model view projection world space into screen space. Yeah, so how do we indicate the size of the object we want to draw? Or is it just going to draw whatever size the texture is? Is that what's going to happen? Maybe we'll just test it out. Image, and then image 2D, we need version 460 core. We'll get this one for reference. We will need, I don't know why I keep changing the way I write this. Frag out. Maybe I'll go with this. In vector, we do need the text chords. I don't like text chords. And we're going to need a uniform sampler 2D of a type U image texture. Is that a good name? Image 2D. And then maybe we could have a uniform Vic for U color tint. Void main. Writing shaders is always, I feel like going from like the CPU into shaders is just like, it's such a, like there's this barrier, and like at some point your data's gone and everything is in a weird world. We might need to do tone mapping here. Okay, so we can get the vec for image sample equals texture of the image texture at the text chords, and then for tinted color equal tinted image tinted image equals image times color tint, and then rec3 tone mapped color equals, and actually it's in the, we do it in the text fragment shader. I always forget, one of them's the gamma one way, one of them's the gamma the other way. Okay, we can do rec4. And this is weird because it uses some alpha. Can't I just do it on, oh yeah, no, we need this to be the image, tinted image.rgb and the image.a, and then send frag out tone mapped color. Okay, so that basically just samples the image, adds the color tint, and draws it out. No scaling, which is something we'll probably have to fix, but we will see. Okay. So Genie UI, we have a thing called Draw UI, and it will go through all these textures and draw them. So we could put this call somewhere randomly where we have this text objects. This is just temp UI drawing code needs a render pass. Warning. Warning emoji. My most favorite coding emoji. Oh, Andy, what happened? What happened, guys? Okay, so we could go genie UI dot draw UI, and then we can add some image rects every frame. And why don't we do it right there? Well, we won't do it right there. We'll do it somewhere good. Game UI update. Okay, this draw function doesn't get called, but maybe we can say UI add image rect. Do you not know what that is? Oh, there's two UIs. Nice. Genie UI add image rect, and it wants a rect test the rect. X equals screen width, y equals get screen height, dot width. So this is where things are gonna go weird. We're gonna get texture pointer test texture equals GUI dot train UI buttons dot buttons rail train UI button 0. We'll just get the train button, and then width is test texture dot width. This is just kind of not doing anything. Test texture height, and then we also need to send in that test rect, and the test texture. What have I done wrong here? Not understand why you assign screen width and height to X, screen width height to X, Y. What? Oh, I just want to draw it in the middle of the screen, kind of. Well, minus the half the height or whatever. Genie UI. What? Oh, this is not what I wanted. I want UI, draw UI. Mesh bind, meshRect.bao. That's probably what we wanted. GUI.reshmect.bao. This is a pointer. Test texture equals train UI buttons. Cannot initialize for a texture to a texture. What? These are pointers, aren't they? GUI train UI buttons. It's actually not a array. Why is it called that? From I32 to F32, and these are also F32s. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just sort of working through it, and my brain is not super working. I need to set an alarm for the doggies. Khalam. Add 1 for 11 something. So we're going to have to wrap this bad boy up. Okay. Today. Tesseract. Okay. What else have I done wrong? That's all. Will we see anything. Did we get any errors? Did we, at 138,000 lines of this, grass, oh, we never actually made this shader, bound it, or did anything with it. That would be important. UI, okay, so shader, we'll put it in Genie shaders. Shaders.h. In fact, it's in the renderer, isn't it? Well, put it in here. Genie shader. This is game UI. Let's not do that. Let's put it in this UI. Shader pointer image 2D shader. And then we'll do some thing in shaders. I've got all these callbacks that kind of help, kind of don't. Image shader. Shaders. Okay. So we can do it here. We can call this Genie UI. It could be in there. Genie UI dot image 2D shader equals shaders create image 2D shaders image 2D. Is that what I called it? Image 2D, yeah. And image 2D and update image 2D. Update image shader. Well, that's not a very good name. Update image 2D shader. And this is not going to really do anything, I don't think. Nothing. Update image 2D shader. Yo! Jesse the fish. How's morale? Okay, so when we do this draw UI, I guess we can go shader pointer shader image 2D shader equals GUI image 2D shader. And then we can do render shader enable image 2D shader. And then just to be good, we can go render shader disable. Does this get us anything? All right, DL man, good to see ya. Catch you on the next one. Sorry, this one's a bit boring. Oh, it's rare. Oh man, this is like, I see why people just wrote whole languages to get rid of arrows and dots because they're so annoying. Do we get an image? Image 2D shader was null pointer. Did we get a notification about any of this? Did we get an error? Image 2D shader failed to load. Where are all the shader loads? Come on, man. Shader, debug drawer, vertex shaders, shaders, PBR, debug drawer, vertex shader. Why did I get no information about that? About the rest of the shaders? All of these. Where are all of these? Did I write something weird in here? Image 2D, res shaders, vertex shader. Oh, there's a typo. Morale is mid. Interview had to rebuild the wife's computer with all new guts. Let's go into this and see what happens. Gee, Genie, is this even set at this point? When we do shaders init, it should be. Let's have a look. Res shaders image 2D.vertex shader, res shader image 2D, fragment shader, update image 2D shader. Yes, thank you for always showing me this. It's very helpful. Shader load. Okay, failed to load shader. So what was the error? Failed to create shader program. Link info. Text coords not declared as an output from the previous stage. Image 2D text coords. Oh yes, nice. Text coords. Always, every shader has slightly different naming conventions. Lots of busy stuff past few days. It's good to be busy. What's happening? What happened? What happened? Yep, thanks for the breakpoint. Perfect. This is slightly large. Okay, something's happened. We've rendered to the combined buffer a giant black nothing. Image 2D. Let's just. Is this the size thing? Oh, did we ever? We bound the image texture, didn't we? We bound the rect texture ID. Oh man, I don't know what's happened last few days. It's just... Why no pause on the thing? Why can you not just break, man? I was listening, I'm in release mode and it's like being a pain. Last few days, I don't know, I got my coffee intake wrong or something and now just the focus levels are low. We're at a major low ebb. Building. Oh yeah, I installed ReSharper on Visual Studio. Man, that is a giant bloated mess. This makes any kind of text editing impossible. Okay, image recs to draw. 1. 0 rect. Texture is train UI button. So there is a texture, we bind the texture. Do we need to like set the, at some point, image 2D shader set uniform set int u image texture 0. I don't know whether this doesn't it default to 0. Pedro Pereira. How are? Did I get that right? Peda. This is a black screen, so. Okay, frag out equals frag out. Let's just go Vic for 1.0, 0.0, 1.0, 1.0. How far are we getting through this chain of madness? Okay, we are drawing a full screen quad for some reason. Yeah, see, this is what, well, the quad, this rect mesh. Oh no, what happened? In fact, I got to go back to the editor. I can't do it. This rect mesh. When I make this rect mesh, I go generate quad. Okay, is this that it's like positions are 1 1 1 1 1? Does that mean? But is that like it's the size of the screen? Is that basically what that's doing? Also, why is it not actually showing me the texture? This is in like coordinates normalized. This is why I was like, why would you want a matrix? I'm like, well, then I can just say draw where I want you to draw rather than draw. Now I got to be thinking in 0 to 1 and all this stuff. Why not just draw it in? I need to be able to tell the size of the thing. We need to set the size in like screen pixels. Just let me use a matrix. Maybe I'll just use a matrix. Anyone? Yeah. Oh, this is IQ. Is this, what's his name? Inigo, the master. This is SDF stuff. What's this telling me? Is it, oh. Is this the thing about, oh, the UI, I was like, SDF functions, what? Yeah, okay, just use the thing. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's just calc a little rect. Oh, what am I doing? Man, I just can't. I can't even. Oh, the French. The French have arrived and they're taking crowns again. I guess you could do a thing that's just like specify the size in the shader. You could just have another thing layout. Or is it this, or is it like a uniform? It's more like a rect. I don't know. I don't know actually how to do it, to be honest. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is how to do 3D objects. So we could just do new view. I don't know if we need the view. How does that do it in the text one? View projection, and then it gets the position by the position. But still, what? Oh, we've got this matrix, the model matrix as well. Yeah, this is probably a bit heavy. Pixels running, so as long as it's there. Yeah, kind of. Hang on. I mean, there's going to be like 4 of these things. the irony of this is, just yesterday I made the text renderer with the help of Copilot actually, and it was like using a size. Oh, see, we got this UV rect, and that's just for the atlas, but we had this size and we were doing the position calculation here. There was no like instance matrix. It was just position and rotation because it was like 2D, but I'm like, oh, well, it needs to be 3D. So we got, but I can't remember how it worked. It still uses an orthographic projection though. But then I'm like, we're gonna want the whole UI to work on like screen coordinates, so like pixel coordinates, where you are on the screen, 0 to wherever, which we have. But then I guess we just got to make sure that whatever we're sending to the shader puts it exactly where it should be. I guess it will. I mean, I don't know. So this is this. This is this. This is model, the model matrix. Again, another one with different. And then the GL position is this is an actual full projection, which is like, yeah, not necessarily necessary. So yeah, all these matrix calculations are a bit silly. I see that, I do see it, but I don't quite know how to deal with it yet. Brain too small, not enough coffee. I'm just gonna follow what I do on the other one. So I guess we are having to send, I mean, we could just send it once. Shader, we don't even need to send it every frame. Set map for you view. What are all these other cells? You know, we watched Limitless last night, the movie with what's his name, B. Coop, and he's like, I feel like him when he tries to go to the meeting and he's off the stuff, and he just can't even. He's trying to read those charts, and he's like, oh, I'm just trying to take in all this information. Okay, what are we sending? We're getting the view. This is for text 3D. This is this. Why are we doing it this dumb way? Whatever. We need this ortho projection, but we only need to do it once. But we're gonna do it. Wait, was that view? That's projection. Okay. U view is map for 1. And then ortho projection is that. Image 2D shader set map for. Map 4 U projection is ortho projection. Okay, sorry about it, everyone. And then we need to set the we need to actually construct this matrix U model to be some model matrix. And I think this is what we do in the text thing. When we create the text object, we go through this whole process of matrix transforming, but all we really need is to create a transform matrix of position, rotation, scale, thingy-mabob. So we can create a transform xf equals, doing this every frame as well is dumb. This is the kind of thing that we're just going to set this stuff, build them, and carry on. So rect dot rect dot, I guess the position, so I'm doing this all dumb because I'm trying to think through it, but position equals rect 3 rect dot x rect dot, now this is in up and down. Is this y? Is this how we're doing it in the text one? Position dot y. So when we add the text object, we add the text. I got rid of it. We add text 2D and we're sort of saying it 1010. So that maps to xy and 0. The scale is like, I guess we're setting that from the width of the texture. This is not the way to do it, eh? Because yeah, you're like, why are we transforming all this in 3D space when we just know the size of the texture we want to draw? In pixels, which is what we're working with. So why would we do all this 3D projection and then have to do like scaling? Yeah. What happens anyway if we do it? Except dot position equals position. Map for model matrix. Transform to matrix of the XF. What actually happens here? How big is this thing? What determines its size? Why do we never actually see the train button? Where is it? Yeah, I know, I'm just like, man, just ask the Oracle. I'm trying to figure this stuff out myself, but I'm not getting very far. Are we getting good? We're getting the image 2D gets drawn, yeah. Set map for U model. Let's just say position equals vec 3 0.0. Does this, are we ever going to see anything? Did we ever actually get the anything rendering image wise? I started trying to just to build the, I was like, I'll just build the UI with IMGUI. And I was like, okay, we're going into this viewport and we're rendering, now we're rendering within this viewport, but within this image, and then we're gonna render, oh man, I was just like, it broke my mind immediately. I was like, yeah, no, that ain't gonna work. I just wanna draw onto a frame buffer that's the same size as this and then draw it over the top. But it seems that's not quite as simple as I first thought. If the ocean was like that, do I see anything? No. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll ask Z Oracle. If I wanted to draw a rect to the screen without matrices, just supply a rect with position and size. How can I do that in the shader? You can modify your Vertex shader. No, not that one. Oh, sorry. The image. Sorry, the image. Oh, is this like... world position is instance position plus a position. Oh, sorry. This is just the image 2D.vertex shader. It's non-instanced. Very simple. Just draw a rectangle. So we use uniforms, the position and the size. It's very simple. Scale the quad by size. Right, that makes sense. We're still using UView and UProjection, but no model matrix. World position is U position plus we have a uniform called Vic2's U position and U size. U position plus Vic plus the A position times size. Okay, makes sense. Vic4 world position equals U position plus A position times U size. But what's wrong with this? What do you not like? Cannot convert from temp component vector to float. Vic2, A position. Is this not what I wrote? What's the difference? Doesn't like it. Because what? GL position equals U projection times view times a vector 4 of world position 0.0 and 1.0. I followed your commands, sir, but it came out negative. Temp. Well, oh, this is Vic2 world position. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then in the code, we're going to have to send it. Those are the same, but we can just directly send it. The U position send it the rect. Oh, we need to make a rect2 position, because this is, just call this image rect, man. Image rect. Image rect dot rect dot x and image rect dot rect dot y. Those are the position coordinates on the screen. Vec2, yes. And then vec2 size equals the same thing but with width and height. U position equals position and U size Will it work? Sorry, what's your problem? I'll set vec2s. Dun 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 dun. Show me. I see nothing. Ah, I see something. Oh, right. Yeah, I was drawing it down the bottom corner. You're like, why do it at why are you saying, yeah, you're correct. Why would you put that there? I'm like, isn't it obvious? Over 2, over 2. You could be fancy and get this minus the texture dot width, and we can do width because it's a square. We still get no arrows. This is the kind of mental overhead you just don't need, is arrows. Yeah, you did call it. I'm like, what do you talk about, man? I want a middle of the screen. Looking in the middle of the screen, there's nothing there. Boom, why did it get so big? Oh, it is actually that big. Oh, this is minus this over 2. All the fun layout things we're yet to discover about UIs. So it's actually quite a big image. I scale them in the UI, so that's not quite in the center, is it? Screen height over 2, and then text width over 2. I don't know why that doesn't work, but okay. We're still not actually seeing an image. When we go to this fragment shader, we say the image is texture, U image texture at the text coords. We're not ever setting a color tint, so it's 0. So this should probably have a color tint. And then when we create the image rects, in game UI, we will say add image rect. This wants a const color equals, oh wait, we'll just put color equals color white by default. Color. Ding 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 ding, and we'll just leave that out. Got enough stuff? Oh, we still need to actually set that. Ding 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 ding. Set vec4 u color. Is it color or tint? Color tint. Image rect dot color dot tint. Of course, I name it 3 different things in 3 different places. It's square. Yeah, it's square, but come on, a train logo. Perfect! Yes. Yes! All right, call that a day. Is it a one symbol change? Yeah, that was... Ding, 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 ding. UI done. UI complete. UI done. UI complete. Man, Link David Delassis wrote a whole article about like all the stuff you need to do for the architectural framework of the UI, and I'm like, let's just not do any of that. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be like, oh wait, there's a problem when I'm trying to manage the state of what buttons pushed. I need to think about, and you'll be like pointing to the article. I wrote all this down. Sorry. Okay. So this is the bad way, and don't worry, we'll fix the bad way. I guess we could change the color tint. Why is it not centered though? Math. Oh my gosh. Half the texture width we subtract from the screen height over 2. That's the top left corner. Then go top left that way. Is this like plus or something? Is it going to be all inverted? Yeah. But it doesn't feel like it's half though, does it? Why does it feel like... I mean, I'll change it to height, but it's a square. Screen height over 2, so we get, that's the center point of the screen. So if I just don't do these things, let's just end here, comment. This should be, oh come on man. Oh, not comment. Not I mean. Okay. This should draw at the top left corner. In the dinga diddly dee da. Well, that's the perfect center. So we're drawing from the center. Is this the actual size? I think it is. The size of this image is... I think it's 256. That looks like a big 256 to me. UI, textures, train UI, train button. I mean, that... How big is this image? It's that big. That looks... but then again, we are drawing to a window, and the window is 2.5K. Yes, 256. Yeah, but I'm so used to like, oh, there it is. That looks big to me. If I expand this viewport, this should be 2560 by 1440. It's hard to actually naturalize that because it's drawing to this window. So it's hard to know the scale, but either way, that looks too big. Oh, we've got a little pixel counter here. This is the mouse position. There is 1024. 462, whatever, 1024, 244, and then it's, yeah, it's big, mate. This is pixel size 2560 by 1440, and this is 102 something, 1024. And this is 1.5, so this is double the size. It's twice the size it needs to be. So why is the size twice the size? The width is the width and the height, which are 256. I need a snack, man. The test texture width is 256. Okay. As at some point are we scaling this thing too big? Size equals image rect width and the negative rect height. There's something to do with the projection. The Vertex shader. Where are you? Get the U position plus the thing times size. Add context. UI.cpp. Any idea why this is displaying 2 times the texture size? Just give it a bit of context. Chat. Yeah. Something to do with the projection or something? Dun, 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 dun. Based on the code you provided, Vertex positions are being calculated. Full width and height of the texture. From position from 0.5 to 0.5, quad that is already correct size. Defining the rectangle's position by its center, but the shader calculation effectively treats the position as an offset from the origin to the center. The quad is actually not that. The quad is actually 1-to-1, right? Draw. This is the generate quad. This is generate quad. This is generate the quad. I use it for the screen shaders, FBOs. Is it wrong for our rect drawing? So it's saying that the quad should be 0.5. Interesting. Can't know everything. If I do change these, is this going to mess up our screen drawing though? Are all our frame buffers now going to be broken? Yeah. Okay. Whoa, it's so crazy the way it's working. Okay. So we need one for generate quad. This is not this. This is a regular quad. Wait, does that mean we can change the size of things? I don't know. Genie draw. Generate quad will generate screen quad. I don't know why these things are different or whatever. .0. So these are device coordinates. All this stuff up here, screen quad equals generate screen quad. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, dude, how many underscores? What time is it? Almost time. Why are we rebuilding so much? Okay. Yes, well, that looks right. Whoa, it draws underneath the outlines. That's kind of cool. Nice. So if we were to do like, it's weird that it's centered. If we were to make this times 2, will this stretch the rect nicely? Don't know why we'd want to stretch rects, but we might want to stretch like backgrounds or something. Yes, perfect. Okay, we have some form of control. It's weird because usually this kind of UI stuff works from the top left corner of everything. So I don't know why it doesn't in this case. It must be something to do with the way we're offsetting something somewhere. I don't know. Okay, so we can make and draw a thing. But all this kind of needs to be like expanded into some sort of like UI thingy-mabob. UI rect or something, a UI element, which like needs some sort of like state management, bool, hovered, bool, selected. Shader's most graphic program, it doesn't work from top left, it works from -1 to 1, so 0, 0 is middle. Yeah, I know, like all of Raylib works on the top left. And when you're constructing UI, but I always feel like I'm having to calculate, like having to convert it from top left to center all the time, because the center makes sense. You just keep removing half. So this, I don't know, we'll see how far we get with this and then find out if it's a problem. Bull, I guess everything is a rect, right? Everything has a rect. A UI element is rect based. I mean, to be honest, like I was, as much as I was very appreciative of the thing, your write-up, I was like, actually, is the UI of thing going to be so basic? It's going to be something like this. it's going to be similar to this, like literally like some buttons that pop up to smaller buttons, you know? I think that's going to be like the reality of most of it. Then there might be like panels when you click on a train, it tells you some stats. There might be a resources bar or something, but I'm kind of going on the assumption that it's going to be rects, some text, not much. Famous last words. And buttons. So rect buttons and some text. This is my feeling. I guess you could have something called an enum UI element state. State none. Element UI state none. LM UI element state none. And you could put like hovered. You want one that's like entered, exited, or something, clicked, selected, deselected. I don't know. Do these need to be, is this a finite state machine? Do these need to just be like, or is this like flags so it can have multiple states? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's Tiny Glade. I don't want to get too generic about this. I almost just want to make it explicit. I might have to go because I've got to take the doggies to their appointment. Oh, they're so sleepy. I wish I could show you on the camera. We need a dog cam that just has the dogs in the little corner. Well, you're like, did you see you're like, top left is easy to work with mentally. I'm the opposite. I'm always like, where's the center of the object? But maybe top left is easy to work with. Yeah, we need dog cam. I tried to get this little GoPro working, but man, the GoPro software is so bad. I don't want to pick up the camera because it's attached to lots of cables. We need a little doggies. They're so cute, actually. They're going to the groomer. We need it before for Chili because she's real floofy at the moment. Struct UI element state, state. There's like a whole thing where you can have like children of this thing and then layouts and all this, but I feel like the layouts are I'm just going to do it manually maybe to begin with and then realize that was a mistake. Put the dog in your dog who's driving on the trains. Yeah. My dogs keep the train on the tracks. Everything we do for them. Maru. Directions, it's a 12-minute walk. It's this Japanese groomer place where you take them in and they take them for like a while. And they come out looking cute. Yeah, so like UI is actually complicated, but we want to decomplicate it, streamline and simplify. I guess it can be hovered and selected for example. But does that become really messy? I guess selected and deselected aren't necessarily necessary. Maybe they are because you want them to be drawn a certain way if they're selected. But it still needs to be able to be, maybe it wants to be hovered, so there's like a little animation when you hover it. But it also needs to know that it's selected. Oh gosh. So instead of image rects, maybe you could have an image rect that has a UI element in it. Is that, I mean, I am not mostly image rectangles. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. But at some point, do you have any inheritance? Like I have no inheritance, and I have no desire to have any inheritance of like a UI button is a UI element. More like a UI button has a UI element. Dun, 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 dun. And then what if you needed like a struct, a image button? Is that like an image rect, but it has a, does that have an image rect? Image rect. And then you need like a enum UI button state. UI button state selected UI, and I always starting to get a little messy. Button state hovered, but you get that from the other state. Deselected. What needs to happen when you click a button? You click a button and it tells the button I'm down. I guess you got UI button state down. Is that right? You hold the button down on the mouse and then you move out of the screen, out of the rect, and then it's like I'm no longer, I'm exited. So then, but I guess if it's this, it's like the image button needs to track this state and this state. Interactions are going to be, anyway, it's going to have to be for another day. I have to think about this outside of stream because this is all list of active buttons, and a button is a struct with a rectangle, an optional shortcut key, and overridable on-click function. Well, that's cool. And either a single image or a nice 9-slice image. Oh, okay, so it's got like a function pointer or something. And that's like a virtual function or whatever, but say it's like, it has its own special function that can be called when this button is clicked. On click. On click, do something. True. This is gonna be like, I feel like the game is just gonna manage the UI real explicitly because it's gonna be, it's not gonna be generic at all. It's gonna be like the rail button. Open the, if the rail state is on, then draw all the sub buttons and then do a little loop of those buttons. Be like, whichever button is clicked, then do something in particular. I guess, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we'll, I'll just turn that back on and then just, is this gonna crash? Then the update function looks through all the list of active buttons and detects where the mouse is, and if it's an active button, when click happens, it does a click. Yeah, that seems good. That seems good. Let's get rid of this. Let's see if it builds. What time is it? 36. That's a good idea. So that you just like log buttons and they manage their own state. Yeah. Come on, man. What are we compiling here, bruv? All I want to see is this incredible image. There it is. And can we send some color tomato? Will this make it a tomato red blend? Yes. Well, that's actually kind of, what's the word? Encouraging. Draw rect. It's kind of like how we did the one on the OG daisy trains. We just had a bunch of buttons and we tested which one was in. Did we do any other cool things? Rocks. All our little shaders are working good. Our debug drawer is... Okay, that's a problem. Yes! Yeah, it was a pretty basic stream, but I'm glad we got there in the end, and thanks for everyone's input and all that, and all those other things and stuff. Oh yeah, we've also, just before we go, we'll just make a little... We've got all these wave functions to create crazy looking waves that never quite look right, but they're also reflecting a skybox, kind of weirdly, but oh yeah, frequency. I think I'm using this whole Gerstner function thing wrong, but it's kind of interesting. Each wave can have a direction and a frequency, but I think it's designed to in a speed. It's supposed to work on a really super high res mesh. There it is. Whoa, that looks perfect. And I think the frequencies are supposed to get really high on certain waves. But I quite like how it calculates the depths and edges of everything if we need a tsunami. Did I make the speed 0 or something? Go, buddies. Oh, this is going to save as well, which is unfortunate. There's a little seasickness thing going on. Oh, and there's a general overall height scaler. I have to fix that later. Yeah, and, oh, I killed the train UI by accident. Height factor. Oh, there they are. Anyway, okay. Better go take the dogs to the groomers. Thanks everyone. And we will catch you on the next